this kind of drawing technique kind of coincides with the way you do gesture work. You know how, like I say, that Vine charcoal is so wonderful because you can wipe it off? Well, instead of wiping off, we've got something you can't wipe off. We've got crayons here, which are real high-tech art-making implements. Actually, there are people who do some very serious work with crayons. They're no different than other media. They just have less pigment and a lot more wax in them, okay? Anyway, look, when you start out with a gesture, one of the things that I try to show is that you want to work very light, very loose, and very fast, right? Well, nothing, and not committal, right? Non-committal. Well, on white, yellow on white, there can be nothing else that would be more non-committal than that, okay? So if I start scribbling, you got me in the shot, or okay, good. If I start scribbling here, first of all, it's very hard to see. One of the things that I would do is, and it's almost like drawing in the air here. One of the things that I would do with this is, you know, I'm just establishing the volumes. I'm just finding the places, and I'm just trying to get an idea. Like, you know how I say, draw in the air. I'm getting an idea of where things are going to be, and it's so difficult to see that I could really pile it on, you know, put some heavy wax on there and maybe see some more. But really, I just have a kind of a vague sense of the overall feeling and size of things here. And we're timed because I only have 11 minutes of battery, and then I'm going to have to start to recharge this thing. Now I've found out that those things drain, those cameras drain, because I charged it full last week. All right, okay, good. Now I'm going to switch to orange, and instantly it's a little bit easier to see what I'm doing. Again, I'm keeping this pretty loose, pretty fast here. And I'm looking at relationships.
Just heads up, you got 5 minutes of battery left.
Seriously, it went that fast?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I've got 5 minutes. All right, hurry up, Jeff. No more talking. I don't know if I'll have enough time to get... The other way of looking at this assignment is it's called the planes of the face, right? So every three-dimensional subject that you bring into a two-dimensional plane, two-dimensional surface, you're working on the idea of analyzing or understanding the relationships and the relative direction of things, the planes, the way they face. And because I'm in a hurry, right? So you guys realize that all the time you watch me gesture, I've never been in a hurry. This is a hurry. Switch to red. Immediately when I switch to red, I start looking for the things that I want to emphasize as far as dark and light. It's an excellent way of thinking about like your first and second pass. There are these places that you emphasize, and they're not like this big scribbly business that you're really looking in for. You're zeroing in on things, looking for structure, looking for volume, looking for emphasis. So I really like this crayon business because I've got this floating scribble mass underneath everything, and it kind of makes me feel comfortable. Same way that the Vine charcoal might make me feel comfortable. Now I'm starting to see the planes of the face. You know, where one thing is turning down and one thing is turning to the side. There's a division there. I'm being very delicate with my mark making on those things because they're not hard contours. All of these are very delicate cross contours. And I still had room to move the hand over a little bit to make it tuck up underneath the lip. Also, to emphasize planes, I think it's legitimate to put in some light shading.
You got 1 minute of battery.
What?
Yep.
I don't believe it. All right, switch to purple. This is great because it'll be a short video. Short videos are more effective, I think, right? Because we don't have the attention span, do we? I think it depends on the production value. Seriously. So now I'm working with purple. Purple, and again, I go for emphasis here. So I'm using it to float over this other structure that I've got. How many minutes do I have left on there?
1 minute.
Gosh, hurry up, Jeff. All right, so purple, right? This is fun. I may have to run this again. Which is great, because that's, you know me, all I want is an excuse to draw, right? It's either draw or play your guitar. Seriously.
All right, I just said it's got to change the battery pack.
And it's going to say no. All right, I'm putting the blue on. Here comes the blue. The thing I wanted you to see is here, I'll put some blue in the eye here. On top of that, and then if I put green in there, on top of all this, it begins to make a black, depending on how much you piled up. Without the blue in between, though, the green shows up more than you want it to. So it's still running?
Mm-hmm.
Cool, okay. It's like any electronic instrument, it's lying. No, we'll let it call it, right? He ran out of time. Planes of the face. So I'm going back in for more planes now. I'm looking at things. What I'm doing is I'm just using cross contours. Boy, when you emphasize these planes, you age people. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. When you do it with line, you definitely age people. I really like the way this comes out with the different colors showing up if you look at it closely, you know? It's still running, isn't it?
Yep.
Liar. Lying feeling.
Makes me think of those paintings where they use multiple colors.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I got into painting with the fauves, the wild beasts, Henri Matisse, Maurice Vlaminck. That's how I started painting. It's a little lighter than I would want it to be, and so, you know, it's still letting me draw, isn't it?
It's got a big red line through the battery, but it's still going.
It's pulling out the last bit of juice. But I think this is enough of a demonstration for you guys to get the idea of how this would work. Now listen, if I'm going to get real fancy here, and I'm really emphasizing the planes of the face, I may start cross-contour shading, wherein what I'm doing is I am kind of making my strokes line up with the surface. Should I go across, I don't know. So I went back to purple. Can you see what I'm doing from over there? I know it's Monday, but you could have at least watched. Gosh, we'll cut that out of the video. I don't know, man. You guys, I don't know. You guys don't realize how spoiled you are. When I went to school, they never, I mean, absolutely never did a demonstration. It was against their principles.
Just like figure it out.
You know, they want you to see it for yourself, so they don't want you to see what they do, right? And we always were suspicious that it was kind of a defensive maneuver too, because then you never saw them fail. And I'm preaching that, you know, the way to learn how to draw is to make a bunch of mistakes, right? You can watch me make mistakes.
Am I done?
Let's call it.